Hi, thanks for stopping by my channel. This is Anna's Aqua Home, where I love to sew, craft, and DIY. I love making handmade items for my home and also to give away as gifts. And today I'm going to be making a Bible sleeve. I've seen a ton of makers and a ton of book sleeves going around, and I'm not a big book reader, but I do have lots of Bibles and I carry them to church back and forth, and I thought this would be perfect. When people had book sleeves, I was like, yeah, I wouldn't use that. And then someone called it a Bible sleeve. I was like, I would use that because I'm always taking my Bibles and like throwing them in a Sunday school bag or throwing them in a tote, and they do get beat up, and that's okay because the Bible is meant to be used. But I thought that would be perfect. If I could get a Bible sleeve, I would use that all the time. There are so many different ways to make it. Like usual, some people make them like with a zipper or opening up here with a bow. Some make them long ways. I think this is the way I'm going to make it today, where I can slide it in from the top, and it's like portrait and not landscape. Some people do bow ties at the top. Some people do zippers. Some people just leave the top of their book sleeves completely open. That would be the easiest to do, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to try to put a zipper on the top, because I feel like even if it was in a book sleeve but still open, things could like stab the pages from the side that's open from it being jostled around. So I knew I wanted to make a Bible sleeve, so of course I needed a Bible fabric, and I've been looking at this one from Hobby Lobby for a while, and I finally went and got it. It's this beautiful one, and it says, it has a picture of the Bible. It says, "He restores my soul. Give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good. Trust in the Lord with all your heart." It's got, let me see, find it over on this side, a beautiful like open Bible book. So lots of lovely ones. It was hard to figure out which saying I wanted on the two sides of my Bible book sleeve, but I think I'm gonna make two, maybe not in this video, just make one for my larger Bible, because I use this one and then I have a little tiny one, so I think I'm gonna make two, so that gives me an opportunity for 4 sides and 4 of these little sayings. So that's my plan for today. So I wanted to add aqua on the inside, so I got this cute little aqua polka dot one to go on the inside. I just have a white zipper to put on the top because I ran out of my aqua zippers. I've been using them too much. And then for the insides, I'm just going to use some cotton batting. It's just really simple. I do have polyester, but I think the cotton will work well. I'm not going to do any quilting, I don't think, between the 2 layers. I just like how the sayings are just very simple and beautiful, and I don't want to take away from those sayings. I feel like if there were quilting lines, you might see that a little bit more, and I really want the words to stand out. So that's my plan. I'm going to move you over so you can see what I'm doing and come make a Bible book sleeve with me today. So here is my fabric, and what I need to do is I'm going to open it up so it's only 1 layer, because it is not matched up directly on both sides, and I want to make sure that I have I'm gonna fussy cut, and that's the true term for it, and that means just basically like going around specific spots in the fabric. So I saw over here this one right here, and I'm gonna use this as my template, and then I think I'm going to my plan is to do 2 inches around. So I've got 2 inches up there, and then I'm going to just measure 2 inches around this whole thing. Actually, because I'm afraid of this running off the top, I'm going to come down and do this one. The thing with fussy cutting is you usually sometimes cut into something else that you wouldn't want to use. So especially for this Bible, because it's so big, it's gonna like, when I do 2 inches over here, it's going to cut into these words, and I'm not going to be able to use this. So when you fussy cut, there is usually some more waste, but I still want to do this because I think the look is going to be really really nice. And it's okay because with this fabric, it was $4 or $5 a yard. So it's not like I'm wasting a ton of money by doing that. All right, so I'm going to slide this under here. I basically have taken my Bible and centered it on the two different ones that I want. So, oh my goodness, that thread. So I'm going to do on one side, sing unto the Lord a new song, sing to the Lord a new song, and the Holy Bible. So I'm just going to put this down and then make sure it's even there. And then I want it to be 2 inches outside of mine. I debated 2.5 or 2. If it's too small, I'll use it for another book, but I'm going to go ahead and do this one. Actually, I can slide this up and do 2 inches right there at the same time. So I'm going to go 2 inches up. Yeah, I really think this is going to be, I don't need 2 inches on this side, but I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it, and if it's huge, it's huge. All right. So I've got half of it out. I'm going to go ahead and do this over here, and I'm just using my ruler to measure 2 inches outside of where the Bible book is. There we go. I was actually really close on that one. All right, and then up on this side. Got down there. Oh. And then I just need 2 inches from this side. So I'm going to do this 2 inches, and then that 2 inches down here. Well, now that I have the outside of my book, I can measure it for you. So it's my Bible book sleeve is going to be almost 9.5 inches wide and 13 inches long. So that's about right. I think I had, I was watching someone make a sleeve yesterday, and they did, I think, 9 by 13 or like 10 by 13. So mine is super close. So that gives me a little bit of confidence that I am close. So now I can put this away. Let's go ahead and, now I've forgotten what the other saying was that I wanted to use. Oh, I wanted to do the trust in the Lord with all your heart. This one, and then I wanted to also do it with the Bible. So I'm going to go ahead and center this Bible and then this sing unto the Lord. Wow, that is going to work really, really perfectly. Okay, let's go ahead and get this cut out. And I will use all these scraps for one more little Bible case. I've got like a little pocket Bible that I want to make a case for. And then also, I don't know, I feel like they're too big to do a bookmark. So maybe some trivets or some pot holders. I don't know. I'm excited to use the rest of this and possibly get more if I need it. All right, so now, ooh, this fabric is so nice. It is really, what am I saying? Really thick. So I really like that. Let me go ahead and lay these out. Okay, and then 2 more cuts and we will be ready to go. I don't know what happened there. Let me see. I just need 2 pieces of this batting fabric. So go ahead and lay that down there. I've been using a bunch of scraps lately, so I'm actually running low on like scraps of batting. This scrap is like when I did a quilt, and it was a little bit smaller than the batting piece that I had. This would be like cut off the end, or sometimes I do baby quilts and I do like a queen size batting and then just divide it into like, I can get 4 baby quilts out of 1 queen size batting. So just different things like that I get these extras for, and I use them for bookmarks and smaller projects. Okay, now we are almost good to go. I forgot I needed a little tab because I do want to do a tab on this end of the zipper. So now we've got our 2 outside pieces, our 2 lining pieces, our 2 batting pieces, a little tab, and a zipper, and we are ready to put this together. I'm going to go ahead and start by doing the zipper, and I'm going to fold these in and just do a little zipper tab on the end. I'm going to do a zipper tab on one end, but then the other end I'm going to put right into the seam allowance. I think that's going to work really well, and I'll show you how I do this, but I'm going to go ahead and stick this in and then just sew right over this. Okay, well there you go. I sewed over this, but clearly did not catch the back of this. So that's all right. I'm just going to go ahead and sew it over again. Make sure the back piece is pulled up. Alrighty. Looks much better. Sewn over it now. And then I can go ahead and trim this off. And let's go ahead and we're going to take a regular piece. I should say an outside piece. This is the lining, but this is going to be the outside that you see. And I'm going to put this right here. So open it up a little bit, face it down. I'm going to put it a 1/4 inch from the end. Sorry if you can see that on camera. I'm going to put it a 1/4 inch from the end over here. So it's like that. And then as it gets down here, I'm actually going to pull it out a 1/4 inch from the end over on this side. So I'm going to take my lining fabric, and as I put it here, I'm going to put a few pins. So here, and then I'm going to go ahead and pin it as we go down. And then as we get to the end, I'm going to pin it one more time here. And then as we get to the end, a 1/4 of an inch from the end, we're going to pull this off. But we're still going to put it right up there, and then go ahead and pin it right there. So this one starts a 1/4 of an inch, and then it goes down, and then it's going to come off the fabric a 1/4 of an inch from the edge, and then we'll just trim that, and that gives it a really pretty finish once it's together. I'm afraid if I put a zipper tab on both sides, it won't be enough for a book to come through, so that's what I'm thinking, and I really like the look. Now we can go ahead and sew this down. At some point, you're going to want to stop and take the little zipper foot on the other side so that you can keep going, because you don't want to sew over the zipper foot. All right, now we have finished that. So you can see this is a 1/4 of an inch, or more like 1/2 inch. That's okay. It doesn't have to be exact. And then this one also comes out of the edge. That way, when you open it up, see, it just kind of disappears right into it, gives it a really nice finished look. And that way, when it is finished, it's just going to go right to where it disappears and then stop. So that's just going to work really, really well. So now we want to go ahead and top stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and top stitch all the way across here, just with an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And this is just to make sure everything lies really flat and gives it a finished look. All right, looks top stitched nicely here. Now we get to do the other side. So we're going to start with this on the bottom, And then we're going to lay this down here. This down. I'm going to open this up a little bit. And then I'm totally not doing the batting pieces. The batting was supposed to be added in there. Well, I'm going to make this one with no batting. It's going to be a little bit less protective, but I'll do batting for my next one. And this will still protect it a little bit. Still keep all my pens together. But this is not how to make a book sleeve with batting in it. This is just a double fabric Bible book sleeve. Let's keep going. So let's go ahead and add a few pins. Match it up. The other side. All right, and then this side, as it comes down, just pull it slightly off. All right, and now we're gonna go sew down that line. Here we go. Open this up. And now we're gonna go ahead, this is how it should be looking, and we are gonna go ahead and top stitch down this side. Now I can go ahead and trim this zipper off, and then I also want to trim some of this because it's a little extra. As it sewed, it got kind of turned around, and so that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and trim this. I know it wasn't completely straight when I cut it, so not a big deal to trim it up before this final step. Okay. Got lots of excess threads. I'm going to trim those off. Okay, recently I saw someone who was like, keep all your little threads and all your scraps of fabric. And they had like bins and bins of this fabric. And then they turned it into stuffing for like a beanbag chair. And they turned it into stuffing for like pillows. And I was like, well, I feel like that would take me a lot longer to collect. I just don't sew enough, and I'm not collecting all my little tiny scraps for that long. But it's a good idea if you sew a lot to save it and use it for something. All right, let's go ahead and make sure our zipper works. I'm also going to grab my Bible and make sure that there's room to slide it in, and I really think there is. I think there will be plenty of room. So 2 inches around may have been what we needed, and that would be good because it means I got it right on the first try, even though I forgot the batting. All right, now we get to put it together. So put the lining sides together, put the outside sides together, line them up. And then what we're going to do, we're actually going to start down at this side. And we're going to leave an opening to turn it inside out. But we're going to start here, go all the way down, around, back, and come to this. When we get to the middle, we're going to, let's go ahead and move this. That's very important. Open it part way so that we can turn it out. Way too many people have not done that. So as I was learning how to do that, everyone said. And then there's a little tiny bit of seam allowance because we top stitched it, and we're going to push that to the lining side. So I'm going to line those up on that side, and then also on this side. We're not even going to sew over this zipper tab because there's plenty of room for our seam allowance, but you will need to kind of fold and jiggle that seam allowance or that zipper tab down so that it lays flat. Okay. And I'm just going to pin right there. I'm not going to pin the rest of this. And then, because these are the two primary seams that I'm looking for, everything else can kind of just go ahead and match. All right, I can see down here some of these don't match as well. So just be aware of that. You can either trim that off right now or just make sure as you're going along that it gets better. Let me go ahead and actually trim this off. There we go. And that way it's all set for us to go. So we're going to go ahead and start over here, down, around, and back. I'm going to go a little bit slower over the zipper just to make sure that everything is good, and it is just a little bit more bulk. I'm going to go ahead and back stitch over there, give it a little bit more strength. I'm using a not a narrow 1/4 of an inch, probably a little bit larger than a 1/4 of an inch, just to give it a little bit of a stronger seam. This is another one where the zippers have just a little bit more bulk, so just go slow as you do this. And I'm going to go ahead and back stitch. Almost done. Okay. It's finished completely from one side to another, leaving a small opening here. I'm going to trim off these threads. All right, and then we can go ahead and trim the corners, not over where we sewed. Just go ahead and trim them. This just gives the corner a really nice crisp turn when you're turning it inside out. I've also seen people make these with like little rounded corners. That would also be really cute. I may try that too. I'm just so used to doing like a square corner that I did that, but there are so many different ways to like personalize these and make them your own. Now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and thankfully we opened our zipper so that we can put our hand all the way through to the bottom, grab it and pull it out. This is so cute. All right, you want to pop those corners out. You could even, if you wanted to like piece this a little bit more, like I know you can see some of the edges from the other pattern around it, the side, and I am okay with that. But if you wanted, you could certainly like do a border and kind of piece this like specifically around so you don't get the other extras if it's not quite big enough. All right. And then here is the opening. Our last step, I think our last step, is to go ahead and fold this over. And then, so right there, just close it up on the sewing machine with a little 1/8 of an inch seam. There is the little 1/8 of an inch seam. And now, let's open it all up. The lining can be pushed down. The lining is so thick. It is just wonderful to work with because it is so nice. It's a nice fabric, and it's just from Hobby Lobby. All right, here we go. The one edge. Very nice. Here's the other edge. Let's pop that out. And I've got a little thread. Clip that. Okay. Wow, there are a bunch of threads on this. Here is my Bible book sleeve. trust in the Lord with all your heart. And on the other side, it's the Holy Bible and sing unto the Lord a new song. I've got my Bible. It kind of matches really cute. And I'm going to go ahead, and it fits. It fits with a lot of extra room. And yeah, there is a little bit of space at the top. So even I was worried that I wouldn't have enough to close the zipper, but even with that closed, there's still plenty of room. So what do you think? Do you like the zipper tab on one side and then it just going in on the other side? Would you rather have it a zipper tab on both sides? I kind of like this look because this way, look, it doesn't open like this inch, but over here it opens all the way to the edge. So definitely something to keep in mind if you're doing these. Again, this one didn't have batting, and that was my fault because I did not put the batting in. It would be when you would layer it when you're sewing on the zipper. You'd also layer batting in there. But we're not going to talk about that anymore. This one is just really nice. I can just take it to church. I can throw it in a bag. It's going to keep all my pages protected. And I could also, this is my sewing pen, but go ahead and put a couple pens in there as well. That would be really, really nice. Yeah, I really like it. And I've seen people put pockets on the outside. I've seen people put pockets on the inside. So many different ways that you can do it. I definitely might be making a few more of these, but for right now, as the first one that I did, I really like it. Wow, that was super quick, super easy. Thanks for coming along with me. I hope you stayed to the end. And now you know how to make your own Bible book sleeve. Or if you don't make it a Bible sleeve, please just make a book sleeve. If you're carrying books around, I absolutely love it. I think it went really well. Definitely could make it a little smaller for this specific Bible. But if I want to carry another book around in it, it's good to have it a little bit bigger and a little bit more room. Also, I carry a journal around with my Bible as well, so there's plenty of room to slide my journal. I didn't even think about this. I was thinking pens, but I take notes during the sermons, and so I'm always sliding my sermon book in there too, so that will be perfect. There's plenty of extra room. So thanks for stopping by today. Thanks for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, thanks for coming by, and if you're returning, thanks for coming for another video. I hope you enjoyed today, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. Bye.